Today, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about VRising. Now, VRising launched on the 17th of May, and that was into Steam Early Access. It was a game I've spoken about a fair bit, and also made some content on. But it's now coming up to 2 weeks since it's launched, and, well, I just wanted to highlight it really, and talk about how much I'm enjoying this game, and honestly, how great this game is. Now first up, as I've mentioned in my previous video, I wasn't sure how much I'd enjoy this. Mainly down to the fact that my go-to survival games are zombie-based or post-apocalyptic settings. I cannot tell you how wrong I feel for going in with that mindset. VRising, with it being a vampire themed, brings some unique and also great features. Now the two that I'm going to touch on in this video with a little bit more detail than others is how you must plan out your gameplay depending on the day and night cycle, and the other being the health system. Yes, like I've already said, there's many great features of this game, but these two are ones that really stuck out to me from a very early playtime. So first up, the day and night cycle. If you know a little bit about vampires, you'd know that they hate the sun. And that's obviously no different in this game. And although it's a tiny bit annoying until you realise what is going on, you pretty much have to avoid the sun at all costs. And, well, it's deadly. And I don't mean this like it's a secondary thought like, oh no, the sun's up. Well, it doesn't really matter. It does matter. You cannot hang around in it at any cost, or, well, you'll be toast. Now this doesn't mean you can't play the game while it is day. You'll still very much be able to go out and about and collect resources and do what you would normally do, but every now and then you'll just need to keep an eye on the shade and perhaps hide under some rocks to maybe plan your next move or which tree line you're going to hug. Or even, of course, the clouds rolling over, because that does happen. It's not like you're set in a desert and there's no clouds. Now, one example I'm going to give is how you have to go into a feature of the game with a different mindset depending on the day or night cycle. And this is something you'll come across when you start tracking down the bosses or the beasts. And these are something I will touch on later. But yes, you'll find it a lot harder whilst you're trying to do this midday or whilst the sun is up. And waiting until nighttime, you won't have as much to worry about, and you'll probably find it a little bit easier. Because if you're doing this during the day, you're almost fighting two enemies. You're fighting the boss and being dragged out into the middle of an open area where there really is no shade, and that sun is going to beat down on you and beat your ass pretty much. But I think you get the idea. I love the sun being an enemy as a prominent feature in this game. But moving on from the sun damaging you, let's talk about how health, or I guess in this scenario, the blood level as your health. In normal survival games, or the games I find myself playing a lot, you'll have to just cook some animals or grab an apple, and after some time you'll be full health again. Well, in VRising, although animals do play a big part in keeping your health up, while attacking them and any other enemies that do have blood flowing through their veins, once you have them low enough, you'll be able to feed on them. And this is when you'll play a cool animation where you'll sort of latch onto the thing's neck, the enemy's neck, whether that's a wolf, a bear, or even a human-like enemy. You'll then be able to finish them off by draining their blood, thus filling your blood tank. I'm not actually sure what this is called, but it's the thing at the bottom center of your screen. And you'll need to keep an eye on this because you'll be using this to replenish your health over time. Something that once you are doing, you can't really do much else, but you can still take damage. So if you're in the middle of the boss fight, this may be not the best way to replenish health. There is, of course, other ways to replenish your health though, so yeah, I just wanted to highlight the sort of blood tank and the feeding feature of this game. Now, hopefully I did explain that well enough, but also the footage in the background should help a little bit more. But yeah, I do know that these features may appear in other survival games to a degree, but I just don't feel like they've been done this well. And honestly, that is why I think VRising deserves the praise for these features and many more features in the game. Now, before we move on to the last part I want to touch on with VRising, maybe I should have said this at the beginning of the video or very early on, but I just want to say that I have by no means played this game as much as I would have liked. Real life has really got in the way of my plans of becoming a vampire and not moving from my desk, and honestly, the past couple of weeks I've had have just been filled with stress. But yes, the other day I had finally a couple of hours to just sit at my desk and fully immerse myself. And I came across a point when I found myself needing to craft some leather, like I said, really early on in the game. And I spent a good while trying to figure out why I couldn't just craft a tannery, because a lot of survival games, you don't need to find a recipe. You can just do it if you have the resources. But yeah, like I said, I found myself needing to craft a tannery to make leather. But I spent a good while trying to figure this out. And then for some reason, I went over to the blood altar. This is something that allows you to track the blood of beasts, or what I like to refer to as mini bosses. And once you've slain one of these beasts, you'll unlock some crafting recipes. And that is when I noticed that if I hunt down a boss called 𝙗𝙤𝙪 the Forest Archer, I'll unlock the recipes for the tannery, and thus leading to being able to craft leather. Now this was a super satisfying moment. It wasn't like I was having my hand held with a tight grip and being guided through a survival game. I don't think any survival game should really have massively in-depth tutorials. But once you do sit down and think about what this game is subtly trying to get you to do with these features like the blood altar, which is pretty much making you go out and explore the world, to then unlock your crafting recipes, it's kind of like a feeling of, why didn't I think of this? And it's a great feeling. And obviously, I can go on and on about this game, but I'm going to leave that to the pros. And a quick mention to SkillUp, who has an incredible review on VRising and pretty much why you should play this game. Now this video is like no other on my channel. It's almost like a review or a mini review and reasons why I'm enjoying this game. But I wanted to make this video from the very first, almost half an hour to an hour of playing it. This game is extremely unique. And this game is the shining light of 2022 when it comes to survival games. I'll be very surprised if anything comes close to it the rest of this year. In terms of quality and quantity, VRising is a game that deserves to continue to break records, and I'm absolutely sure it's going to keep doing that through 2022 and the first year of its life, if not beyond that. With that being said, I do really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, please let me know by leaving a like, or if not, a dislike. It lets me understand a little bit more what you like on the channel. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, and bye bye.